Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper. And today I'm here to talk about solutions, and not so obvious solutions. So often we're doing something and we think that we're paying attention to the right thing when in fact we're not. And I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. It's very common, I found, for many of those with ADHD to work with somebody on a task. And they do well with it, but it breaks down. And let me give you a specific example, because this has actually happened a couple times when I was working with some college students. When they were on campus, they had like a coach or a tutor or a mentor of some sort. And when they would sit down and this individual was coaching them maybe on time management or some type of organizational skill. And when they sat down, let's just take time management. They had like a calendaring situation, maybe an iPad, maybe a Franklin planner with a bunch of colored pencils. And as long as the student met with that individual, they sat down and they planned their calendar, and they had some success with it. But what broke down was when they didn't see this coach or counselor or tutor, at those particular times, it wouldn't necessarily work. In these situations, one looks at the structure of like the Franklin planner or the colored pencils as a solution that was working, when in fact what I find is that's not the case at all. Many of those with ADD need to interact with things. They need to play with things. Like a kid plays with Legos on the carpet. Having a conversation about what your week is going to look like is play. It's kind of debating. You're bringing up concepts and ideas, and you're kind of organizing them in your mind. And my point here is that in the situation with these college students, what was working for them wasn't the structure. What was working for them was having a conversation with somebody about their calendar. In other words, as they talked about it, they began to pay attention to it, and that's what helped them remember it. And I say that because if in one particular student's situation, we've talked about this, and once he realized that's what it was working for him, he would engage his mother, a roommate, sometimes a graduate assistant, and sometimes other study buddies, where he'd just sit down and say, hey, I just need to talk about my calendar this week. Whether it was an iPad or a pencil calendar or a Franklin colored pencil, it didn't really matter. The point really was, it was that interacting with it. Same thing kind of goes through for, I've heard families put the grease board, the big calendar up in the room, and the idea is it keeps everybody on task. Some it's a visual reminder to think about time, but for many it's not. It's actually going up there and filling in the dates and times. Once they fill in the dates and times, notice that you have to pay attention to it and you have to write it down and register it. You lock it into your mind, and that's what helps you organize time. So when you're going out there and you're looking at what works, sometimes maybe it's not necessarily the structure, maybe it's the process that you're doing, whether you're interacting with it, doing it in the company of somebody else, or talking out loud about it. So I hope that helps you think about things, and if you look around in your life at certain times when things were working, and then take a look at how things weren't when you're using the same structure, I bet you dimes to donuts there was something different. And what's common with those with ADHD is they were doing it in combination with somebody else, or they're interacting with it. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Subscribe to our network and get more tips. Take care.